You are listening to OBP.
Welcome to Ohio Business Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Pohl. I'm joined with Julii Hall of Kindred Collective and The Art of G.
You are listening to the Ohio Business Podcast, where we sit down and chat with today and tomorrow's business leaders of Ohio.
Thanks for coming on. I am here in the studio, so thanks for having me as well.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming.
To start off, let's go into the whole idea of what Art of G is and how you kind of got here to this position.
Perfect. So it kind of all started with the name G, which is my signature and is very visual. So if you look at it on paper, it's a lowercase j and two lowercase i's.
Mm-hmm.
And how that started is kind of in elementary school, actually. I decided that I hated the uppercase J with the hat on it. And my friends were doing things, changing the spelling of their name. It just stuck for me.
Mm-hmm.
So the G is Julii shortened, and kind of goes back to, I went to CCAD, have my bachelor's in fine arts from there.
Okay.
And I do personal abstract works. So I decided to take my signature from those works and turn it into an LLC, coming from the art background. And had a class where I had a teacher who taught me automatic drawing. And that's kind of how I started my abstract art. So I thought, oh, I've got this LLC. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do. I knew I
So
wanted
you've
to
had the
help
LLC
people.
for a while?
I got it in August.
Okay.
Yeah, which was the best decision. If anyone is thinking of starting a business, you should start there because the state supports you. You get lots of resources, and that was a great experience for $99.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, and people are surprised at how much support you get on there. So I just kind of had put it out there into the universe, so to speak, that I wanted to help people and make money doing it. So the abstract art thing kind of just sprung from that, and I can teach this to people. It's very meditative for me, so it's kind of how I wanted to do that.
What does a class entail from the teaching perspective?
So the in-person classes are the best. We had them outside last year, so each one is a little different. There's Google Hangouts, so every one is a little different feel, but essentially we come together with breathing exercises. I don't know if you've ever attended a meditation class.
I do meditate, but I've not. I do want to do that class you offered me. That would be awesome. Because I've kind of fallen out of practice with meditation.
Yeah.
And recently I've been back into it just with a anxiety standpoint, so I've been doing it. But I need to do it more daily, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I would love to do a class because I feel like that'd be very. That'd just be a great get back into it type of thing.
Absolutely.
For myself. So.
And it's kind of an intro to meditation for people who are intimidated by it in any way. So we start with breathing and then basically head right into doing doodling. And I connect the two. So you kind of explore the relationship between breathing and the pen marks that you're making. And we talk a lot about how it is coming from your higher self. So that collaboration is everything that you're creating is right. Because people have a lot of hang-ups on the blank page. They're afraid to start an art piece because maybe people really think that they're not good enough for their own art supplies. They're afraid to start the piece. So we kind of get into doodling. So it's good for artists to kind of get over that creative block, and also good for non-artists to just be able to focus on the pen instead of trying to clear your mind, which is very hard, kind of intimidating to think of, just sitting in a room trying to think of nothing. That's hard for people. So this is a really good bridge into doing a daily meditation.
Yeah, and starting to express yourself. Yeah. It's a great launching point.
Absolutely. And it's kind of evolved from what I thought I would teach to what I'm actually teaching. So, but like you said, you started through trying to heal anxieties. Everyone is kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
I mean, our whole lives kind of got
especially right now. It's even more I feel now the whole pandemic is really starting to weigh in on me. I've always worked from home, so now I feel like I don't know. It's been so long, so
honestly,
now it's been crazy.
Yeah, I understand. My roommate is kind of in the same boat, and I've noticed, we've actually been discussing that it's just now starting to really sink in for him.
Mm-hmm.
I personally am super extroverted and was working, I worked at the Diamond Cellar for until the pandemic. I had worked there for 6 years and had really liked to try my hand in the jewelry industry, but am grateful for an experience, to
My apologies.
oh no, you're fine. Grateful to be able to, like everyone else, we're kind of coming around to what's important.
Mm-hmm.
What really is priority in your life? Is it money or is it time?
Mm-hmm.
And it really took the whole shakeup and me getting laid off to realize what I was kind of leaving on the table happiness-wise
Mm-hmm.
by working there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just to, advance myself monetarily. But now I'm doing a lot more with my life with a lot less money,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so much happier.
Yeah.
So we're all, offered an opportunity just as in every day. You're able to make choices to reaction. You may not always be in control of what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but how you react to it, you are. And meditation and art is a form of expression in that way. So people are really ready for these kind of classes. They're ready to explore a new part of what's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really catching on. I know you had asked before maybe a little bit about what I was doing advertisement-wise. I have definitely found that part to be more of a struggle for me.
Yeah, that is a big struggle if it's just hard to find that right audience through I don't know, especially if there's not that much, myself included. It's very hard to find people through advertising. You have to have that certain product where it kind of catches on, grabs people's attention very easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult process.
Yeah, and we're all, I think, navigating it, trying to figure out where we fit,
Mm-hmm.
because I've found, social media to an extent only goes so far unless you pay them.
Mm-hmm.
So here at the shop, it is called Kindred Collective because there's many of us.
Mm-hmm.
I do the art meditation classes. I also do coloring books, which are on Etsy. They're unbound, come in a folder.
Mm-hmm.
So you can pick the designs that you want and you don't have a bunch of extra pages. So,
Yeah.
because coloring books for people are kind of wasteful. You get the whole book for maybe 5 designs that you like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to maybe start a subscription service with that. So that is here. We also have people who do jewelry wrapping. We have lots of people who come and do consignment here, and then also the services. We have the Reiki Master, the cupping here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to work in a space like this. So that in itself is advertising.
Mm-hmm.
This would not have been possible without this location,
Mm-hmm.
without this team of people behind me who are constantly rooting me on
Yeah.
and caring about, and not to mention this is where the classes happen. It's a big enough space that we can sit far enough apart, that we feel, I have 6 students in here, it's plenty of social distance, until I can get back into the parks and stuff
Mm-hmm.
this summer. But yeah, it's literally because of their efforts in this location that I've been able to blossom. So we're very, very lucky to be down here in Grove City too, because people come in all the time really, there's a metaphysical shop down here, and we're yes, here we are, coming to save the day.
How did you find the other people that work alongside you to just find the spot?
Crazy is we were talking about how our connection was through Diamond Cellar, which
Mm-hmm.
is where I worked before I, got laid off. Also, Julii is the name of our Reiki practitioner. She
Mm-hmm.
worked there as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've had so many amazing connections from my time there. Honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. So she worked there for years, and really we just came together again randomly. I think I'm a big believer in manifestation, honestly,
Yeah.
but I think it's just all kind of aligned because the services that we all offer are very needed right now.
Mm-hmm.
People are a little lost, and we don't replace therapy, a real, real therapy or mental health, prescriptions and stuff. We're not at all trying to replace that, but to have a place where you can come and maybe just chat with someone for a couple minutes. It's as you can tell, it's a lot more than just like a retail shop. It's a place for folks to.
My impression is it's a holistic resource and type of outlet. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not too sure what Reiki is. Is it?
Okay.
Could you explain that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So it's a Japanese word, but it's basically an energy healing. It's kind of a hot word, the word Reiki. So I think she's calling it intuitive guidance.
Okay.
Which is a mixture of, she kind of can feel energies. She's very intuitive about people's problems, their what they're going through. She's very versed in like ancient energy ways. The chakras we're talking about. We use essential oils, a lot of Eastern medicine, honestly, and she has gone through classes and courses and is actually almost able to teach Reiki. So it's a whole certification process, but it's energy healing. It's a lot of knowing where our own magnetic field centers are and what they operate inside our bodies, and she's able to manipulate that energy if there's blockages and basically help your body heal itself is what's going on. But it's directed through the use of, we have spiritual tools here, crystals, certain, like I mentioned, the essential oils. They all activate different parts of you hormonally, and it's pretty fascinating to me to look up the connection between Western medicine and Eastern medicine, the chasm that has been between them, and now how they're bridging again, because the Western medicine got so far from really helping us. So the Eastern medicine is getting more funding and getting more attention. There's so many medical journal, double-blind studies on Reiki and its effects on people. So we have solid clients. And speaking of advertising, they don't do any advertising outside of word of mouth, and really did really well this year. I mean, have had solid customers. We've made connections all around, and everyone who's connected to it seems to be prospering. So.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
In the midst of a pandemic,
Absolutely.
And if only once we come out of this, hopefully, you can pick up even more steam.
Yeah, and it's the idea of the social entrepreneurship. It's not about for Keely, Katie does all of our she's our earthy witchy woman. She does all of the flower essences. She makes all of our balms. She really understands the body's ability to heal itself. So we all work together in that way, but we really are more interested in the good we can do for people than making a bunch of money. And that is propelling us, and people notice that, and we're just trying to teach people that they can do what we're doing. We're not like healers. They're capable of meditating yourself into making a lot of things better. We don't always need the medicine first. Maybe try, I like to call it the placebo effect, but it isn't. It's your own brain. You're able to heal yourself. And we just help people do that.
And that's a great way to just... Some situations don't really need prescriptions. Obviously, if you need it or not, whatever, I don't know. But I feel
Some people do.
So yes, of course.
Yeah.
But there is I believe if you try to solve it through these practices, and there is a way where you can at least mitigate it to the point where you might not need it. And I feel I could have taken some type of anxiety medication, but instead I found this, and other types of spirituality.
Yeah.
I cannot speak today, but I feel like that meditation, exercise, eating healthy, it all plays in together. It's great to see that there's outlets like this.
Absolutely.
Because the only other outlet I could imagine is yoga. And
yep. Very similar. Yeah, and there's a yoga studio right over here. Burn Within Yoga, and See, we're also connected because there's the lady who's teaching our Reiki master to become a Reiki teacher
Mm-hmm.
is also a yoga teacher over there. So it's nice. We're all coming together at the same time and able to help
Mm-hmm.
people. And you do. Some people will always need professional help and medicine, and when there's definitely, like I said, there's definitely nothing wrong with that, but there's always another perspective
Mm-hmm.
to add to or to try. And we have all these books and are constantly learning ourselves. I mean, I would never say I'm the expert on anyone except Julii,
Mm-hmm.
but we're learning with our clients.
Well, as you continue to grow and learn, do you believe that maybe there's more room for another person to become part of this collective or offer
Yeah.
more services?
Actually, it's amazing that you asked because this front room we are trying to rent.
Okay.
We want to bring in someone who's an excellent fit. That's really more the important thing. But we're looking for any modality, another Reiki practitioner or massage. We have the cupping table is available. So there's room, definitely. And then with my classes, I hope in the future to be able to employ others.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now I'm looking into working with a private practice social work, basically, and getting it to the point where it's recognized as an art therapy and, maybe getting insurance involved and getting it out to people who are under certain programs. And I want to get it to as many people who wouldn't normally have access to spiritual tools and meditation as possible, because we're not going to have everyone be able to come into the store, but I can take this to others. I can take this eventually to kids in the city who have no one to meditate with them and, be able to do that all coming back to that social entrepreneurship. I really like that concept and kind of try to strive to ride in that vein.
Meditation is such a foreign concept all throughout, I believe, your education period. I don't think I ever met anybody that meditated until I was probably like my third year in college.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly, it's always kind of been, it's always been there. It's ancient. But it's been a little like poo-pooed in America until recently because, we kind of sometimes as a country have our heads in the sand
Correct.
about things. But I think there was enough proof that alternative medicine works, especially we get the internet and there's more research. There's books and books on the healing of yourself and like I said, there's many funding headed that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of meditation is like cool now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Which is great.
with the advent of the internet, it almost seems that it is the one thing that is needed.
Yeah.
To kind of, unplug and just really
Isn't
just
that
sit with yourself.
Ironic, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And a friend of mine just did a social media cleanse, which she said just changed her entire relationship with her phone.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't think I'm quite ready for that, because as I'm growing, I think if I got off of social media completely, that I would suffer in my scheduling. But one thing I do recommend is not picking up your phone first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I say, it sounds a little corny, but I say a prayer when I wake up, and I invite in whatever energies are around that are helping me live this good life I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for it.
Gratitude.
And I think living in that constant, the heart chakra is really what we're talking about. Living in that space is really what just keeps going and bringing the good things, and I want to show others how to do that. So in the mornings, I bring that into my day, and then once I get going, then I look at my phone.
Yeah, you got to.
We tend to do that. We tend to just wake up with it. And
yeah, myself included.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's taken me months to really change that habit, and I still slip up sometimes, but not only gratitude, but forgiveness, hand in hand, especially for ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves.
That's true.
We really are.
Especially as entrepreneurs, you really got to be critical of yourself so you can even perform better and teach better, and just just be smarter.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
I've had so much help and assistance. I mean, when I turn around and see how far I've come, my mom was just telling me that it seemed so fast, and it's such an incredible leap. But to me, it has like crawled past because there's so much going on. But it's all been, this friend or this friend or this supporter. My boyfriend's stepmom, basically, who's a good friend of mine now, she has just been there, really behind me. My own mother, the girls here, new friends that I'm making who are just behind me 100%. And when you find your tribe, so to speak, like you really I'm motivated by that, and so I think that's so important to surround yourself with people who kind of have the same goals.
Exactly. It does take a village. You can't just do it on your own. I mean, it's very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where that gratitude comes into play as well. It's perfect.
Bingo.
Going back to that social media cleanse, I feel I used to be almost totally off social media, and then doing this and my other business, I had to get back into it. Now I feel like it's totally almost overrun my life now.
Yeah.
So I gotta figure out that will help. I had deleted all my apps off my phone, but I go on my laptop. So
yeah, it's tricks. We trick
Yeah.
ourselves. You'll move the app into a folder on
Exactly.
a third page to try to break the muscle memory. I don't know if you are aware of the film Social Dilemma.
I've seen that.
I was trying to get everyone to watch it when I first watched it because it's so important to understand how much people are benefiting from our unhappiness. And we are so used to it. It's only been 10 years, really. I mean, I guess I had a smartphone in like 2009. But it's not been our whole lives. Some kids, I guess. I guess I'm just aging myself, but it's like, I don't know. You wonder what the future looks like. So we're tricking ourselves to find that balance. Setting a schedule has helped me. I mean, working for others, doing retail for every other part of my life has kind of created some traumas around like wanting to produce all the time or maybe not being late to something and it triggers me. And I'm now realizing like, no, sometimes you need some leniency and sometimes you need to push yourself.
Yeah.
So setting a schedule for being a work, an entrepreneur, the word, has definitely helped my productivity and my rest because I wasn't taking any days to myself for a while and I burn out. And so it's hard to find that balance when you've been so used to having another boss,
Yeah, that has to be a big switch up. Go back into the marketing part of it. What have you been trying to do?
So I definitely we got a lot of interest from doing it was a giveaway with the Oracle in Old Town East. And they have like CBD drinks and craft beverages, to-go beverages and stuff. And it's right by my house. So I was excited to be part of something that's a similar aesthetic to everything here. And gained a lot of followers that way on social media. But mostly that's the trick, is like I have a YouTube channel and I have Twitch and I have Facebook. And there are things that you integrate to you. I can live stream to all of them using so many apps that are helpful. But I think it just comes down to you just got to put it out there. Whatever you're doing, don't think about it too hard. Put it out there. People want to see it. And the more you show them, the more genuine they find you. I mean, paying for ads and stuff is maybe not something that's going to work for my business model because it's not done very well so far. And maybe I'm not spending enough, but, it's a weird fine line.
It's difficult to put that amount of money into something that you might not even see the return immediately.
I'm glad you understand. Yeah, it's like I'm just looking at it like, man, maybe this isn't working. So I recently switched gears coming into this year. I do have a fully functioning website now. So I'm going to be able to have field trip classes where we go to like the Arboretum during the summer. And those are going to be listed on Eventbrite and what's the other one? I can't think of the name of it. It's for like kickball and stuff. It's a community website. And then so people will be able to find me. And when you've got it more streamlined and easy for people to just click, you know, pay for a ticket, put it on their calendar, it reminds them, you know, you need to go to this place. Once it's all like integrated and easier, then I don't think I will need ads at all. I think it'll just be word of mouth. And, you know, I do post to artist sites and am involved with the Greater Ohio Arts Council or Greater Columbus Arts Council. So there's resources for that, but so far as just paying for ads, I don't think it's, I think I'm going to keep trying other things.
Yeah.
But I have, you know, I have noticed that it used to be a lot easier on Facebook for people to care about your little coloring book page.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's, you know.
Facebook is just bombarded with advertisements, and Instagram. I think so now. It's almost too much. Yeah,
and you have to you have to play along.
Yeah.
You know, you do need a website. You do need to have a Google page. You know, it's all coming together in that way, and I would be excited to revisit that question in 6 months, because I'm just to the point now where analytics are starting to matter, and I'm trying to get my feet wet in that area, which brings me back to the resources that are available when you have an LLC. You know, I get emails from the SOURCE program through the state of Ohio. They're always sending me, you know, here's a grant application. You know, there's tons of money available for entrepreneurs if you fill out enough paperwork. You know, especially being a woman, you know, they really want to support minorities and female entrepreneurs and everyone, really. There's money out there for people who have good ideas. So definitely take advantage of it. Anyone listening, definitely do that.
I mean, it's tough to start from almost nowhere if you don't have any capital. And you almost need that type of grant, and it really promotes entrepreneurship. So it's great that they have those outlets, and people need to take more advantage of it. That you might, if you have an idea, maybe don't quit your day job if you can't afford to, but you know, start the LLC, you know, build out the plan, see if you can get a grant, maybe it catches fire, and then you know you can quit your day job. Or you know, it's just
you already were offered. I was in a very unique position to have been laid off. You know, we were all on lockdown. Everyone was on unemployment for a while, so I had time to sit and think about, you know, what do I do if my job doesn't call me back? You know, what do I do if they're not able to bring all their employees back? So I'm, you know, in a place now where I'm able to look back on that with gratitude. But yeah, it's hard to start a business. I've said many times in this process that I see why people don't do it when they have to work full time. Like it's time and a half.
It's demanding
all by itself. Yeah. So it's hard work, but I also am blessed that my product is me. It's my service. It's my talent. And so the labor is free, so to speak. You know, I don't have to pay someone. I don't need to pay for the storefront on my own. You know, I'm able to work a lot of my expenses out in trade. So I'm in a very unique position, and I'm taking advantage of it.
Now, I just remembered the question I was going to ask. Do you think 10 years ago, would this type of collective be able to exist and thrive? Or do you think that now we're in a different environment where it's needed more?
I've actually thought of this. I've pondered on this same question myself before, because we've had clients come in and say, "Oh, it's nice to see that there's metaphysical boutiques popping up." You know, I've seen that kind of come and go. So I've wondered that. Is it just that we're at the right time, you know, or is it us specifically in this location? I think it's a little bit of both. You know, I don't think it would have been easy, you know, especially into that exactly 10 years ago. I mean, the economy was not good.
Rough. Yeah.
Nobody had a job. I was delivering pizzas. It was a time that maybe there were places that were thriving
Mm-hmm.
and they just weren't resonating with me, because I do know that I dabbled in meditation, I dabbled in yoga, and then moved away from it, and then came back, and so it's always kind of been there. And more people have that same story. They're coming in here and they're saying, I kind of used to think about meditation, but now I really want it. I really need it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think so. I think 10 years ago it wouldn't have been as fertile
Mm-hmm.
for the kind of healing people are really ready for.
Yeah,
And meant not just because of the pandemic. We were already gearing up to the changes, but
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic definitely kicked it in gear.
Well, I believe yoga is almost a very young phenomenon, right? In the States, right?
In the United States, yeah.
That wasn't a real popular thing almost 15 years ago, I would think.
It's been, so it was kind of marginalized to the coasts.
Yeah.
And people have, let me preface again, it is ancient.
Mhm.
It really
Correct.
is ancient. But to Americans, it was kind of like the hippie thing to do in California in the 70s, 60s. But it slowly kind of got more throughout the rest of the country and more accepted. And then, there was a bridge then between yoga and, it's okay to be Christian and go to church and be yoga.
Mhm.
It was looked at more of a fitness thing then.
Mhm.
And so then it became more accepted. It's in gyms. And so it just kind of changed paradigm from the weird meditation, religion, Eastern philosophy to something that's really good for you. Americans, I think, tend to not accept things until their doctors do. It's a problem sometimes here.
Yeah, there's a lot of faith in doctors. I mean,
There is.
there's as there should be,
Yeah.
but it's just maybe they aren't exposed to this type of, alternative in that when they're through their education,
Yes. So that comes back to the other question. I think people are ready for the exposure.
Mhm.
We're, as a culture, ready to recognize yoga and meditation and, for all the benefits. So meditation is good for anxiety,
Mhm.
blood pressure, depression, anytime that you're feeling wonky.
Mhm.
It's really just an energy field thing.
Mhm.
And you can clear that yourself once you learn the tools.
Mhm. Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a headache. Meditate 10 minutes.
Drink some water.
Yeah,
It's always
I
it's
drink
always
I
the
drink my
Drink your
water. I drink my
It's
water,
always
but or my heart's racing. Meditate. Can't sleep. Meditate, and then just clear the head. Go right into it.
Yeah, I mean, there's yogis in Tibet. I'll just
Mhm.
call out a country, but there's people who can basically turn their body into a whole different body.
Mhm.
They're able to exist in one side of them. They have high blood pressure and they're aging, and then they can get into deep meditative trances and their body signs are perfect, healthy. So it's kind of a weird phenomenon with the brain that's worth researching if anyone's curious. But it's absolutely the connection between the brain and body is powerful, and we have more control over it than we're aware of. So I'm glad people are into yoga and meditation, and it's going to benefit everyone, because if we're all a little more chill,
Yeah.
then eventually it'll catch on. And if you are a higher vibe, as we like to say, if you're living out of that heart space like we talked about earlier, then you're gonna be contagious. It's just like negativity is also contagious. But if you can live in that positive universal love,
Mhm.
Every day, then it's just gonna keep lighting up others, and it's really what we're seeing.
Mhm.
It's real. I mean, there's people coming in here who don't know why they're here. They're just like, oh, I just showed up, and then they stay for a couple of hours.
That's
and
great.
Then, and then they come back, and now they're students, and we've got the collective is growing.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So from a student perspective, do the classes, are there different types of classes that you can take?
So right now, that's a good question. Right now, they're all just kind of drop-in classes. They're all kind of the same. There's no course yet, but I've been developing that. And that's the most challenging part of this, is trying to put together something that I'm proud to put people through for 6 weeks.
Mhm.
And then, so that's coming. It will be sacred geometry. There's a lot to learn, a lot to know. So I'm excited about giving people, rulers and protractors and showing them how to make their own circle of life and going over, the basics of that, which could be a whole episode on its own probably. But yeah, that and color therapy. We also want to have courses here that aren't necessarily art meditation, but also like healing salve, creation, candles, essential oils, like how to do everything with intention is kind of our goal here in the shop at all. So with the art, it's the same, intention is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to help my anxiety by drawing, or I'm going to light this candle and I'm going to think about how good I'm going to do on this interview today or whatever, So you again, it's that connection between your brain and your actions. So we want to explore that in many ways. So yeah, there'll be more thorough courses, but right now they're kind of self-contained. You could drop in, do 5 in a row and be just as benefited if you just did one. So they don't really build on each other quite yet. But I do kind of play on whether I've had previous students or not.
Is it specifically doodling, pen drawing, or is there painting involved? Or
So as of now, I've only been doing pen, and there is pen and not pencil because we're not going backwards. It's everything you do.
That's
is
great.
perfect.
I like that. Yeah.
And that's hard for people.
Yeah.
They're like looking at the pen, like, are you serious? Like I can't go backward. So that's
But you can always fix it.
Yeah.
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 You just gotta be creative with how you fix your mistakes.
Exactly. So I've been keeping it simple, pen and paper. We have a breathing exercise where we connect the line that you make with your breath, and definitely have gone into some sacred geometry. I had a really cute Halloween one where we did like a pumpkin seed and a vine. People love to have a moment where they feel like a kid again. And art class is kind of what I'm trying to bring to the people. It's good. It's been good, but no painting yet. It's definitely not like the sip and draws or the sip and paints. I can never remember what they're called, but there's an experience where you come with your friends and bring a bottle of wine, and an artist provides you with a canvas, and they've painted an image, and they want you to kind of mimic that image. They're going to teach you how to draw that image. It's not that. This is much more introspective. We don't socialize so much during the class. We do have like it's a social activity, but in the moment, it's all about your own brain. So it's a little different, and there's no wrong answers. We don't really even share the drawings at the end of the class. It's all about your own personal journey on the page. But watching my students that I've had for a couple of months grow and get over their creative humps, so to speak, and also have a student who uses it as therapy for wrist surgery. You would not believe your first class, your wrist gets tired. We're not used to using pens anymore.
That is very true.
Yeah. So
that is correct.
We stretch. It's a physical activity for people at the beginning.
Stretch out what is that called? Carpal tunnel.
Yes. Yeah. And the girl, she had a surgery. She thought, it'd be no big deal. She really struggled and found it as a way to not only work through work boredom, meetings, and she's doodling to get through it, but the strength. And so the benefits for my students have been beyond what I had expected.
I gotta try this. I would love this. I've dabbled. Like I just drew like somebody's face randomly for different faces for 30 days. But it was so cool to see how bad I was, and then still how bad I was, but way better comparatively to the first thing. But
I love it.
Yeah,
that's a cool exercise.
Yeah, I thought I moved to Iowa for an internship, and I was just so bored. So I was like, I used to be so creative back in the day from a painting perspective, and I fell out of it with sports. But now I feel through the Adobe products, I
finding that creativity again. But I do love drawing, you know.
Yeah.
So I really want to sit in on one of these classes.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be perfect.
I just started Google Hangouts,
Mm-hmm.
Which I like a lot better than the live streams. The live streams, I didn't have any interaction with the students. I couldn't see what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just very energy sucking for me. I
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't getting anything back from it.
Yeah, you were just doing the class, and
Yeah,
there was
I was
no one
leading
there.
the breathing and
Okay.
going through all of the process of the class.
And you
but I
couldn't see their faces.
what they were
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, I couldn't get a feel for if they understood what I had said, or
Mhm.
So now the Google Hangouts are nice because I can kind of get I can't explain it. Being a teacher is something I never really thought I would go about this way. I guess I never thought I would be doing it myself. So it's been a very learning process for me too on how to relate to people and how to notice their needs.
Mhm.
You have to preemptively figure out, oh, maybe they're gonna, need this instruction.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, coming back to it taking a village, my friend is teaching me how to teach. She has been kind of watching me and observing what I could use and what I'm doing right, of course, the things that I can improve, and she's going to help me with that. So it's just going to keep getting better and be more useful for more people. Because there's so many different levels. Some people who have been creative in the past like you, or some people who aren't at all, who still can benefit from meditation. So I want to reach all of you.
Well, that's the
I would
goal.
love having you there.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I'm coming. I'm doing it.
Good.
As we wrap up, through this entire journey of, getting to the point where you're at now, what are some of your successes and some downfalls that you've encountered?
So, definitely the self-confidence thing is a big hurdle, I think, for anyone. You kind of are like, man, I've done all of this, and am I wasting my time? So trying to heal through that has been definitely a challenge, and still I struggle, and I rely on my crew for that, the good people around me. And in the same vein, random successes that I have, landing a podcast interview with you seems like a huge success. It was something to work toward, and gave me a deadline for the website, and it's teaching me how to manage folks too, not only students but people working with me and around me. So that has been a definite positive, is that I'm gaining more confidence in my own abilities all the way around. So far as failures or any setbacks, I think the live stream was definitely something that I had to learn, is that was too energy draining and not worth it. It wasn't creating any revenue and was stressing me out. So it took me a while to come to that, because I was afraid of failing in that vein. But really, it just needed to be a different platform. So constantly checking in on yourself and saying to yourself, am I spending too much time on this for not enough return? You don't want to give up too soon. You should be constantly having a conversation with yourself, I think. So that's what I'm learning, is how to manage myself, set that schedule, and be kind when I do find that I maybe wasted my time on something.
Any other words of encouragement, anything that you want to leave off on at all for other entrepreneurs?
I think it's a good time to have a small idea right now. I have, through my community, through the state of Ohio, the LLC, that's the best decision that I ever made. Again, do that. That's it, though.
Get to just start somewhere if you want to.
Just put it out there and
See what happens.
Yeah, and just keep going in the beginning, you know, because
Yeah.
nothing happens overnight. But find something that makes you happy, that helps others. You can't go wrong. You know, even if it's a product, if you're behind it and you're genuine, the odds are in your favor, as they say right now.
Correct.
It's a good time for small ideas. There are people who are investing in diversifying our economy again because Amazon got pretty big and pretty scary, and I think people are ready to support local.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Just jump in there.
Where can the people find you? What's the website? How can they contact you?
Yeah, so the website is spiritualartmaking.com. That'll get you to the Art of G website. And I have classes going on there. I do read tarot here at the shop, intuitive guidance services. I have kind of a talisman painting that goes along with that. So all of the scheduling is on the website or Instagram. Everything is Art of G, Jii.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. That was great.
Absolutely.